Hello, everyone. Patriot 5 and Patriot 6 here on Monday. Little verse out of the Oh Mama Papa song. Can't wait to see Cass Elliot listen to her sing again and not just on Memorex. So if you know Tim Rice, a gentleman who I've become friends with, he follows us. He doesn't come on much anymore, I don't think, but me and him talk on Facebook, and Tim Rice says, when you know, you know. And guys, there's so much stuff going on out there. I'm going to talk about happiness. I'm going to talk about joy. I'm going to talk about a lot of things tonight. But I have to admit, I'm going to also talk about disappointment. I'm tired of being promised things and nothing happens. I'm tired of going to these people who's got 20 and 30,000, 100,000, a million followers, and they're telling us, hey, it's happening behind the scene. We can see it, but you can't. Well, you know what? We're Americans. We're all created equal. Remember, that's what we're trying to do, is make America great again. So why does some people get to know and others don't? Because of some people who get to know, they don't get to know. They just act like they do. They got a large following so they can make their money. I'm going to talk about one such later. But before we do that, I'm going to say the pledge. I'm going to play the music, and then we're going to move on with the show. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Jeffrey, I see you're on now. Family Channel, Ron's here. Betty, good to see you. Cindy's here. So we'll come back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again, just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt as love is there. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'd rather stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt of this land. God bless the USA. 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless
Yes, yes, yes. God bless the USA. I am proud to be an American. I was talking to Mike Davis the other day, and I know he's ready. I know everybody here is ready, right, Valerie and Jeffrey, and that. I mean, guys, how long do we have to go? Last Thursday night on Bruce and a Big Call, I really didn't pay much attention to it because I thought Bruce's stuff was pretty much all old stuff. But what I did get excited about was when Bruce was talking about how he's thinking it's going to happen sometime Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Well, Sunday's gone. Monday in Illinois has less than 5 hours left. So I guess Tuesday. And I'm not, guys, I'm not giving up. I'm not depressed. I really thought we'd see something. You know, and Ron just said it. Same thing every month. How long? I mean, how long are we supposed to prove that we're dedicated to these people? What do you think, Gordon? How long do you think we should have to? I mean, at some point they got to do something. Now, whether or not they do is yet to be seen. Do I believe it's going to happen? Yes. But, you know, it's always, you know, today is what, the 7th? So I can promise you one thing, that today's the 6th. Tomorrow's the 7th. So tomorrow will be Bruce in the small call. And I can promise you one thing. Bruce will be talking majorly about it happening on the next day, the 8th, because that's Chinese. That's China's lucky number. They love the number 8. Do you realize if you took a quarter and doubled it, every time the number 8 come up, every time that 8th day of the month come up, and Bruce, he never skips a beat. And I'm not cutting Bruce down, but here's what I don't understand. And Valerie, Cindy, Golden Arrow, can you help me here? What the heck does it matter to us what numbers China acts? We're here to make America great again. We have a man that's bragging about all the wars are ended, but he can't end the final 2. He promised the people, you reelect me again and I'll have that Ukraine and that other country, I'll have that done in less than 30 days. Hell, he isn't going to have it done in less than 30 months the way he's going. But yet, we all love him. We're all here for him. We all support him. But how many times do me as a man has to be kicked between the legs before we say, we're taking it back over? We've given him his chance. We have so many more people, good people, than bad people. But isn't it funny? The good people never get any acknowledgement. It's the bad people we're always talking about. I'm telling you, I watched a video today, and if the lady on that video is not arrested, we have no society. She literally come out and threatened the ICE people, the people who's coming in, trying to save people, saying, you know, it's not hard to find out where you live. It's not hard to know how many children. She was literally threatening these children. This lady should be put in a straitjacket and never allowed to get out again. My feelings is I've seen her on a place called Talk, The Last Word, and she has one of these all-night shows, that they sit and talk. The reason they sit and talk, the reason she can talk so much is because she don't work. I know I've called her out. I said, how can you sit here all night long? You're in your early 40s. How do you not have to get up and go to work in the morning? Oh, I make this amount. She makes more money from the government than I make from the government and a pension. A pension where I worked almost 30 years and then 45 years working towards my pension for the government. She makes more money than I do and sits at home on her fat ass all day long, making up stuff and trying to rile people up. But we're going to go into some good thing. I just had to get this out of my system. Sometimes you just got to get it out, So that being said, we'll talk to the kids now, and they'll come back. So feel free to guys over there, Papa G and Cindy and Golden Arrow, Valerie, Bill, Cindy, John. Hi, John, good to see you. John did stick up today. There's somebody keep posting these new things you put your card in and you can get money out of. What the heck are they called? TMAs or ATMs? ATMs. Guys, and I'm not acting stupid about these. I've never used one. By God, if they're going to use the money, the little money I got in the bank, if I want money, I'm going to bank. I'm going to make them work. I'm not going to go up and do their work for them. That's what the trouble is. But anyway, Super Jimmy, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you did something as a kid. Sorry I missed your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jimmy. Happy birthday to you. I think it was Larry. Also had a birthday that day or the next day. I missed yours. Happy birthday to you too. I'm not going to sing a second one unless you want me to, but I like to acknowledge all the people in our group, our family here. But if I don't know it's their birthday, believe it or not, I was not there when he was born. So, Jimmy, happy belated birthday. I hope you had a great weekend. Patriot 11, I hope you had a good weekend riding your horses. And I remember you with your girlfriends. I'm sure you still got them. Patriot Wyatt Earp and Patriot Karate Kid. I know that your mom and dad do a lot with you kids, and I know that your weekend was probably really great. Patriot Princess, our queen. I haven't seen Grandma post anything about you lately, sweetie. It's all about her Mary Kay and her baking and that. And I don't know, she can talk about the Mary Kay all she wants. Tell her to quit putting them pastries. I keep asking her to send me some cookies, but I never get them. That's all right. Jana looks like she's an amazing cook. Grandma does. Hunter, I know you're the stud man there. You're the player. You're the man. Now, when I say you're the man, if my grandson happens to be on, I'll cover that when I talk about him. I'll say something. But Princess, I would imagine you're done with softball now. But I don't know, do you play volleyball or soccer? Patriot Boogs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie are 4 Bs. Grandpa John is so proud of you. I see people, and one little kid a while back called me Grandpa. And the parents kind of looked and says, look, I never see my grandparents, and he doesn't mind. So, I feel sorry for the kids. I never had grandparents. I had one until I was 3, But the year he died, I also fought polio, and I won. But, grandparents are something special. But I had to keep some of mine in line the other day. I'll talk about that in a minute. Then you have Patriot, little Leona, who she's learning her animals now. She's learning how to run. She gets daddy to run around in the most ridiculous looking pajamas and get videoed in. Oh, John, I'm going to tease him when I see him. I used to have a pair just like it, though. It's the things you do for your kids and your grandkids. Patriot, little Elan, hope everything is going good with you and your mommy and daddy and grandma. And then there's Patriot super gymnast. My oldest granddaughter. I had her at the football game the other day, and Patriot little monkey was kind of ignoring me. And I looked at Patriot super gymnast. I said, "You want something at a concession stand?" She said, "Yes, I do." I said, "Well, come on. I'm buying for my favorite granddaughter." But I also put in my favorite oldest granddaughter. It didn't take long for Patriot little monkey to come running up and giving me a big hug. But then yesterday we had another football game, and I'll get into that in a minute. We had another football game, and she was playing with her best friend at the game, and I came up. I had been there for almost 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, little monkey seen me, and she looked at her best friend and says, "Stop, wait, I got to go." And she says, "You got to go?" "Yeah, my grandpa's here, and I got to go give him a hug." Man, she ran as fast as she could, jumped in my arms and give me a hug, and whispers, "I love you, Grandpa." It's funny because Super Gymnast and Seven call me Papa. She said she wanted a grandpa, not a papa. She's got Papa Don, Grandma Bo's boy. But anyway, then there's small Hank, who is finally going back to school tomorrow. He's been off with hand, foot, and mouth disease. And I've been teasing him because I said, well, I didn't have to miss anything. And I got a hand, I got a foot, and I got a big mouth. And he laughed I could tell him that joke 100 times, and he'll laugh 101. I don't know why he thinks it's so funny, but, if I had a lot of fans like him, I could have been a stand-up comedian. Someone told me I was so funny, I need to be on stage. There was one leaving in 10 minutes. That's an oldie but a goldie. And then little Kira. I was woke up this morning because I had to watch Patriot, Small Hank. I was woke up this morning, right outside my bedroom door, little Kira standing there just screaming, crying. And I thought, okay, she came downstairs by herself. Mommy's not here. She forgot Grandpa's in the bedroom. So I waited a minute. She just kept crying. I thought, well, don't want to wake up my dog Dasher. So got up and I went, ask, "What's the matter?" She started on me about, "Mommy, put milk on my cereal." I said, "Well, you put milk on your cereal." "I told her I didn't want it." And I said, "Okay, well, let's go sit down and eat it." "No." I said, "Yeah, let's go sit down and eat it." She says, "You sit with me." And I said, "I can't sit in your little chair, but I'll sit right next to you." It sat there, and she, bullheaded as can be, she's sitting there, and all of a sudden, she started eating the marshmallows. It was Lucky Charms. And she started eating the marshmallows. I said, "Eat the cereal." "No, I don't want the milk." And I said, "Well, I got an idea. The last time I got breakfast for you and give you cereal with milk," I said, "what we did is you drink the milk all off." And she said, "Good idea, Grandpa." She drank the milk and ate the cereal. Her mom come downstairs and was still yelling because they had to take her for a special thing at a doctor today. Both of them had to go. And they didn't want to stop halfway up and get her something to eat because she was hungry. And her mom's still yelling. I said, "What are you yelling about?" "Well, she has to eat something." I says, "She wanted to eat more?" "What do you mean more?" I showed her the bowl. And she goes, "She eat that?" And I said, "Duh. You see it ate?" But anyway, I saved Patriot 7 for the last because he had a football game yesterday. They won, which means they finished the season with just one loss. I think 7 wins and 1 loss. The team that beat them got upset on Saturday, so they ended up being the number 1 seed for the tournament, and they get to play the exact same team. Now, you can see my shirt. My daughter had this made for me. It's in the Clifton blue and white, but it's also patriotic because she wasn't sure I'd wear the Clifton blue and white because, see, I'm a Tiger. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger. And that's who we played yesterday. Yeah. My grandson got 2 touchdowns, and he kicked 1 extra point. In that league, if you run the extra point or pass it, you get 1 point. If you kick it, you get 2. He made 1, and he hit the goal post right in the middle. If he'd kicked it that much higher, he'd made 2. So he had a very good game. So that's pretty much it with the kids tonight. We're going to get into the show now. Kids, remember, this video is not meant for you. You can watch it under the discretion of your parents, godparents, grandparents, legal guardians. And the music that we played tonight is for entertainment purposes only. We have no legal rights to it, but we play it because we like it. So I was telling you about the video I watched today with the lady, and the guy who was doing the show, he said just like I did. She threatened these little kids. She threatened these people's family. I don't know if it got taken down or not. He asked for it to go viral. After everything was said and done, I went back. I was going to put it everywhere. But it was gone. So it might have got taken down, but I'm sorry. When you're living in a world, where people want to go after young children, we've had way, way too much of that. Hi, Myrna. Mac, good to see you. And hi. Hi, Russ and Gary, says Ann. So I wanted to see what we wanted to read here. Ariel says, looks like something is about to be abolished. 10/6/2025. This is what people need to look more into. The IRS, operating under the Department of the Treasury, maintains limited operational continuity, whatever, through approximately $1.2 billion in obligated carryover funds from the prior fiscal years, sufficient for core functions such as tax refunds, processing, and enforcement activities for an estimated 5 to 7 days from shutdown onset, which basically means these funds have probably run out. As of today, October 6th, approximately 70% of the IRS workforce, roughly 60 of its 85,000 employees, face furlough directives if funds exhaust without intervention per internal contingency plans disseminated on September 30th, 2025. These include suspensions of taxpayer assistance hotlines, delays in audit initiations, and halted recruitment for the agency's expanded enforced cadre. Reductions in force RIF are under active consideration as communicated to the staff, potentially leading to permanent staff cuts. If the shutdown persists beyond 2 weeks, do you think they will make it? I highly doubt, because it looks like the hat already went on the offensive to remove them. Red pill drifter, 70% of IRS workers will begin being furloughed as it will run out of funding after 5 days of the government being shut down. Today is day 5. If you still can see what is happening right in front of you, in front of your eyes, it's because you're willfully blind, not my problem. Yeah. And then I seen an article about the Obamacare and how he shut the government down for, I think, 13 days to get what he wanted. And I got in an argument the other day about that particular thing because, yes, it did get people insurance care. But see, when I was growing up, remember Ann, remember Bill, remember Tony, going back when he was a little kid and you started learning about the judicial branches. You started learning about the presidents. You started learning about that. I was always told that the president of the United States of America is there to serve his country. What he made was irrelevant because he would never have to really pay for anything. But, you know, he was the president. He made X amount. And there was millionaires back, you know, when I went, not as many millionaires there is now, or they just didn't advertise it. But if I remember right, presidents used to make like $100,000 a year, which for a term, and you got to go back into the 60s. And making $100,000 or $75,000 or whatever it was a lot of money. But I never knew that they was able to get something like the care package that he put together, but make millions and millions and millions of dollars on the side getting it. Another president, he wasn't the president at the time, but he was one of the main leaders of the CABAL. And they purposely kept that war in that Dong country. He purposely kept it going because they had such a great amount of things that now in some states, Illinois is one of them, it's legal to. And I have to tell a quick story about marijuana since it is legal in the state of Illinois. But I have to tell a quick story because my daughter, she swears she was a good girl, and I always believed her to be. But the other night at my brother's 50th wedding anniversary party, my brother Russ, we're sitting there and they had these little, hold on a second, I'll show you. They had these cute little salt and pepper shakers on the table that you could take home. And then they had this. Okay. As a luck of God for that night, my daughter's best friend, Ina, who has moved since graduation to Florida and is married and very happy. She was like my second daughter. She was always at my house. She was always doing family things with us. And we don't see her but once or twice a year now. And she was able to come up, go to her stepdad's 80th birthday party, and then come to the party with us. And Ina picked this up, and she opened it up, And she went like that. And just looking at it, she's looking at it, and she says to Amber, "That's like that stuff we used to roll and smoke when we was in high school." And I go, "What?" Because I think she was joking. I don't know. Hey, I look at it this way. My daughter's married with 3 beautiful kids. She's a tremendous mom, part-time dad because David's on the road a lot. And, not that David isn't a good dad. It's just that when you're working and you're not home, that job falls to the person that's there. And she does a great job. She's a teacher, and she even teaches a little monkey. There was something else that they said. Looks like something is about to be abolished. Okay, that's kind of what I was reading. I should have read that first. Looks like something is about to be abolished first. This one here that I'm going to read is to the ones who are tired. We're almost there. Dear dreamers, I see you. I feel the weight you've been carrying, the waiting, the wondering, the days when it feels like the finish line keeps moving farther away. But please hear this. You have not been forgotten. Everything you've endured has been preparation. Every prayer, every late night, every act of faith has been a brick in the bridge you're now standing on. We are not at the beginning anymore. We are not even in the middle. We are almost there. I know the silence can feel like a void and it's very deafening, but in truth, the silence is where the last pieces are falling into place. This is the hidden moment before the curtain rises, before the lights come up, before the songs begin. Hold steady, breathe deep. When your heart says, I can't anymore, let mine speak for you. We're almost home. This is not just an RV or a revelation. This is about the revelation of you, the world you've been waiting for, the needs, the versions that only the preservations could shape. So stand one more day, believe one more hour, whisper one more prayer, because the dawn always feels darkest just before it breaks. And this is that moment. Dreamers, you are stronger than you know. We've walked the path together. We'll cross the finish line together. And when we do, it'll all make sense. The waiting, the hoping, the stretching, all of it has been leading to this. Don't give up, as we are almost there. Dream on, dreamers. That come from A to Z, Angela. And I know when I first came on tonight, I may have sounded a little negative. Guys, I wasn't meaning to sound negative. I read so much that everybody sends me. I try to absorb so much. Sometimes I got to get it out, or I feel I'm going to just. So I'm hoping that the rest of the show, I can make you smile. I can make you laugh, because I wouldn't have been here tonight if I didn't really believe in this. I wouldn't come here 3 nights a week and make myself available 7 days a week. But it's going to happen. It's just, how many times can they just keep saying we're there, but then we don't get there? And it's understandable, Myrna. It's understandable, Tony and Janet, Jeffrey, Bill. It's understandable to get a little depressed. But when we get a little depressed, we got to let it out. We got to move forward. So, hat replaces fired immigration judges with military lawyers. About 100 Army Reserve lawyers will begin 6 month assignments to ease the 3.4 million case backlog. The brief, the hat administration is assigning military lawyers as temporary immigration judges after firing dozens from the bench. About 100 Army Reserve lawyers will begin 6 months assignments to ease a 3.4 million case backlog. Experts warn the move risk undermining both immigration courts and military justice. Dig deeper. The hat and admin wants to bring in as many as 600 military trained attorneys to help make decisions about which immigrants can stay in the country. And that's good, but here's my thing. And if I offend somebody here, I'm sorry in advance. But here's my thing. Which immigrants can stay? Which ones have to go? If you come in legally, if you got your papers legally, if you have done no crimes against humanity or anything since you've been here, you get to stay. If you came in illegally, if you broke the law coming in illegally, if you're hiding like a little rat illegally, bye. See, you wouldn't want to be you. Because think if you left your country to sneak in illegally. And I hear so many people. I watched a clip on that show on TV that's with them ladies. That God only knows why they're still on TV. But I watched the clip. And I watched one of these ladies. I think it was the African American one. And she says, what right do they have to take these people out? They broke the law. They came into our country illegal. But you know what? I swear you could take a gun, and I'm not talking a nail gun, and you could bam, 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 bam into people's head. You could not beat. You could take a club. You couldn't beat common sense in to these ladies. And I'm not saying I want someone hit because I don't believe in violence. But I do believe in justice, and I do believe if these people go home, then they if they come in illegally, they have to go home. Now, something that I have an opinion about is the hat is trying to get a bill passed, he may have got it, about children from people who come in. Now, I'm just going to pick a name, Janet and Bill. Janet and Bill, you come in to the United States from another country. You come in legally. You know what? I'll say Bill and Betty because that might make Betty a little mad. So I'll go, Janet, I'm sorry, but I got to go with Bill and Betty. You guys come in legally, and when you're in here, you have a child. And you're here for 10 years, and for some reason, you do something and they want to deport you. My feelings is they may have the right to do it. I don't know. But that child was born a United States citizen with you being here legally. Now, if they come in illegally and they're born, it's a different story. But one thing I want to do here, and I'm going to stay with Bill and Betty. They come in illegally. They have a child. Now, I've heard the hat wants to not give them the citizenship. But let me ask you this. Did that child ask his mom and dad to come to the United States and be born illegally because they was over here wrong? So you're going to make a young child go back someplace where Maybe they don't even have a family when they go back. But if you leave them here, we can find a family. Because, guys, I'm going to tell you something. One of my humanitarian projects is the kids. And I've told you time and time again, I want to work to find every child a family. But why? Why can't we do it now? We can't do it now because of the cabal and the greed. See, this young girl comes in. She has a baby. She don't want it. They take it. They can put that baby up, and there would be a line standing around the corner waiting to adopt that baby. But no, you got to have $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 or more to get that baby. Why? When you have a young girl, and I know a couple of them, I got a couple nieces that want children really, really bad, but they have not been blessed, and they're getting to the age without the beds. They're not going to be blessed. But even with the beds, when I've talked to these two girls, they still said, Uncle Ralph, we'll still adopt 2 or 3 if we can. They would take 3 kids, each one of them right now, and give homes. 6 children could have homes. But no, because these terrible, terrible people, that it's time we get rid of them and get back where we need to be, want to make money off of these children. These are children. They did not ask. Charlie Kirk did not believe in abortion. I don't believe in abortion. Once you know that you're pregnant, that's a life. They can say it's not it, but to me, it has a heartbeat. It's a life. And I don't believe in abortion. And then you get all these people arguing, well, what about this little girl that happened? And I'm not saying in every case, if there's a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old girl that is brutally taken advantage of by a sicko, and it's going to cost her life, then yes. But to me, that's about the only way. Well, this one girl was sitting up there with Charlie Kirk one day, and he says, she looked and she says, why shouldn't I be? My body, my choice. And Charlie Kirk answered it the best I could ever figure. You're right. It's your body, your choice. But when your body gets horny, maybe you need to use protection instead of figuring I'll have this child and let the people in the United States of America pay for it. But no, it's too easy for them to just go and have an abortion, and I hope they never give in to this. But speaking Beth, I will get to that Vietnam issue in a minute. But here's the thing. You're a child. You didn't ask for this. But there is so many people out there that would adopt. I mean, to me, when we have the children, when we do the project, to me, I think that's going to be one of the easiest things to do. But boy, I'm telling you, Bill and Tony and Ann and all of yous over here, I'm going to also hire people. And they're not going to be the ordinary people that go and check. They're going to be people that make sure these kids are safe. But can you imagine a little boy who's in an orphanage, and all of a sudden someone like my niece, who was so full of love, her husband, who was so full of love, they walk into that orphanage and they walk out with this little child, and maybe another one right next to them and another one over here. And they make enough money, and they'll have enough money anyway that they can make these children have great lives. Can you imagine how these kids are going to feel when you're 6 years old and you've never had a birthday party, but the first birthday you have? I guarantee you, with my nieces, as soon as they bring them home, there'll be a big family party. And these kids will be the center of attention. But to get up on Christmas and have presents, just to get up in the morning and know mom and dad, I don't care who it is, that your parents are going to make you breakfast. You're not going to go hungry. You're going to have what you need. You're going to have clothes. You're going to have everything, a bed to sleep in. And guys, to me, that means more than any money that I can ever get. That is why I'm so disappointed. You know, when someone says, well, you're just, no, I want the money. I'm not kidding. Guys, I've been poor my whole life. But, you know, I've worked hard enough that I got out of the poorness into where I can manage. But now as a senior citizen, and I'm sure there's a lot of senior citizens in this group right now that will contest to this, we get nothing. You know, our president, he got it to where you don't have to pay taxes on tips. That helps the people that's working, the people that's built this country, the baby boomers who now need help. We get nothing. But you know what? I guarantee you tomorrow night, Bruce on the small call will say, we're supposed to get our money. Social Security is supposed to get their raises. How many times can they tell us we're supposed to get our raise? I don't want us supposed to get. I don't even care if the senior citizens get it. I want one voice, and Tony and Beth and Janet. I want my son and my daughter, their family. I want my nieces and nephews and everyone that I know. I want all of us to get money. I don't want this little piddly. And yes, it's going to be a great raise for the seniors. But you know, about in July, they started telling us we were going to get this money the first of the year. But in July, they made the statement, we not going to get it in July, but in August, we're going to get for August and July. So does that now mean we're going to get for September, August, and July? Or now October, August, and July? Or are we going to go back all the way to the first of the year? We can change the way things are, guys, if they'll just do something. And I know they're doing it. The trouble is, they thought it was a swamp that we had to clean. They thought it was a swamp. It wasn't. It was a whole damn ocean. We had to clean up the whole ocean. And it's deep. It's really deep. But we're on the right track. We're going to get there, and it's going to get taken care of. Now, I think it was Janet or someone. I just said to someone, I will get the thing about, oh God, I was going to talk about that. Let me see if I can go up and see where it was. Sing or smile, I agree. Patriot Custodian. Patriot Custodian! My goodness, it's been ages since you've been on. You quit emailing me too, buddy. How you been? I kind of just made my show. Okay. Beth says, if no one has told you, Sky today said that Vietnam is going privately tonight and will announce it tomorrow, our time. I heard Sky say that, but some of the other things Sky said this weekend, my God, did she want to blow people out of the water? What was she talking about? But anyway, I seen a little video. I thought I seen it on our Telegram site but it may have been TikTok. I don't know. I'm all over the place. But I seen a video that they got the rate and they're going to revalue. But tonight is the 6th. I heard it was tomorrow night, and we would hear about it when we got up first thing the 8th. Now, what does that mean to us? Does that mean that we can go in if they revalue? Now, I've also heard that Iraq has revalued. Iran just did something, took zeros off of their currency. What they're waiting for is what I'm hearing. Okay, I'm going to say it. My resources said I've wanted to say that a long time. And you guys are all my resources. But somebody in my resources told me that it's ready to go. We just have to finish up in the Israel. We saved it for the end. We was told all along it was wait till the end. Last night when I wrote Julia, I wrote her a long letter, which I always do, especially on the letter she's going to get on Monday, because I tell her about my whole weekend. But I asked her, I said, honestly, are you living in the fear that you have been? See, because me and her have discussed, when you take them little people, them little kids in the Ukraine that are the same age as Patriot Little Monkey, when you take all of them, they've never been able to go outside and play without the fear. They've been many a nights in a hole underneath the ground trying to stay safe, sheltered, whatever they're called. And I asked her, I said, how's things like that going? And she said, we haven't done that in almost 6 weeks. She said, do you remember about 3 weeks ago when you wrote me a letter telling me that that hat was just about to end the war with us in Russia? And I said, yeah. She said, we have had nothing. And she lives in a pretty good sized city. I think 65,000 people. She said, we've had nothing. On the weekends, we're able to go for walks again. She said, the only bad thing is it's not really hot, so we can't go to the beach. But my personal opinion, I believe they're going to announce it real soon. I really do. But yes, I did see that, and I thank you. I thank you, Beth, for sharing that. But Iran moving the zeros off of their currency, I've heard, is a very, very big play. It was something that, what was it, back in the 1990s, there was another revaluation, and it's not sticking in my head. Cindy, did you just try to call me? Bobo, that's why I don't give predictions. I just tell you how I feel. And you're absolutely right. So I do want to cover one subject that was really upsetting a lot of people on our Telegram site, and that is the special beds. A lady who probably knows more about the special beds than anybody. I have no idea why she went off, but she went big time off on the people the other day, stating that people need to quit asking her questions. People need to quit making assumptions. And the questions they was asking. Okay. Yes, you're going to be able to get taller. Can we get taller? Yes. You go in, you explain to them what you want, and they can help you achieve. Well, what about weight? What if you're real heavy? And I seen a picture later on where they said this guy went in and he was like this, and he was I would say close to up 5'9", 5'10", 300 pounds. And when he came out, so what do they? The question was, what do you do for clothes? I mean, like me, I've always said I'd like to be 5'9" or 5'10". I'm 5'7". So do I wear a longer pair of pants in there that day? I'm going to I don't care how cold it is when I go, I'm just going to wear a pair of cut-off shorts. Long ones. So, when I'm taller, they'll come up. But no, I was frustrated because we're building when we're building. And because she was having an off day, she took it out on everybody. And there was a lot of people that was very upset. here's the best advice that I can give you about the special bets. You're going to go. You're going to book your appointment and you're going to go. You're going to get there and you're going to sit in a room with some people and they're going to tell you everything that can happen and you're going to tell them what you want. Me, I just want my heart to not be to just congestive heart failure. I'd like to lose some weight. I'd like to be a little taller. And there's spots I'd like to be a little bigger. But that's me. And that will be me and the people in that room's discussion. Nobody else's. And it'll be the same thing for you, Bobo. The same thing for you, John. The same thing for you, Bill Woods. Blind owl. It doesn't change your DNA. It repairs your DNA. You're not going to go in there and when they start working on your DNA, come out with my DNA. You're going to still have your DNA, but they're going to make sure everything is perfect. So, hi, Karen. Bobo, everybody should think like that. Because, Bobo, there's not. Everybody don't have food for their stomach, clothes on their back, a roof over their head, and peace in their heart. A lot of people don't have that. So if you're fortunate, everyone here, if you're fortunate enough to have that, you are so blessed. There's so many people. And that's one of the things that I really get disappointed in, why it's taking so long. It's October 6th. This time last year, we had snow in Illinois. Today, we had 82 degrees. We're getting some amazing weather. Warm days, nice breezes, so it's not hot. And then at nighttime, it cools off and makes it perfect for sleeping. We are getting amazing weather. But there's people out there that they don't have a roof over their head. They struggle to keep clothes on their back. And their heart is not pure and warm because they're going through and enduring so much. Now, we all know a lot of people who's like that. They bring it on themselves. And I'm going to give one incident. Not too long ago, I went into Walmart. As I went in to the parking lot, there's a gentleman. And he's got a raggedy clothes. And he's got a little dog there. Sir, can you spare some money? I said, sir, I'm sorry, I don't have any cash. Sir, we just need a little bit. Me and my dog were so hungry. So I went in, and in one part of the cart, I bought probably $30 or $40 worth of dog food. In another cart, I bought him lunch meat and bread and chips and even some sweets and things like that. And I took him out to him. He said, sir, I would rather have money. I said, but sir, this way I know your dog gets fed. Because I knew he just wanted the money so he could go do the reason he's out on the streets. But all I'm going to ask everybody before we call it a night is just make sure that you stay positive. If you get like I did tonight, talk to someone about it. Write me a letter. Send me a message. Tell me, Ralph, I'm down. And I will I promise you, if I get it, I will get back with you and try to pick your spirits up. If I can't do it in a message, I'll call you. I'll do whatever I can to help everyone here. But right now, we were talking about the roof over our head, the shirt on our back, Well, right now I need to go put some food in my belly. So I'm going to go eat dinner. And then I will see you guys Wednesday night. Maybe before, because I tell you every time. I made a prediction last week that Bruce would not do a big call on Thursday night unless it was a celebration call. Well, I'm running out of time, but I still have the faith. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to surrender, and I'm not going to comply. Good night. God bless. Me and Ron love you all, and we'll see you later.